Welcome to Crypto Education with Lady Queen. I'm so glad you're here. On this video, I'm going to explain the blockchain in less than 5 minutes. For simplicity, we'll talk about Bitcoin and its function on the blockchain. Now, because you came to this video, you are really attempting to learn the basics of the DeFi space. So the topic we'll start with is, what is blockchain? We'll cover 3 things. How do they work? What problems do they solve? And how can they be used? The blockchain's technique was originally described in 1991 by a group of researchers and was originally intended to timestamp digital documents so that it was not possible to backdate them or alter them in any type of way, but it went really unused. But in 2009, it was improved by Satoshi Nakamoto, who created the first digital currency called Bitcoin. A blockchain is a distributed ledger that is completely open and transparent to anyone. And what's amazing about this is once data has been recorded on the blockchain, it is very difficult to alter that data. Now, let's break this down a little more. Each block on the blockchain consists of 3 things: data, hash, and hash of the previous work. The data stored inside a block depends on the type of blockchain. The Bitcoin blockchain stores 3 details about the transaction, okay? For example, it says the sender, the receiver, and the amount of coins that are going to be sent. Next, let's talk about the hash. The hash is somewhat like a fingerprint. It is unique to the block and it identifies the block just as a fingerprint identifies you. Changing something inside that block would cause the hash to change. So this is what is used to detect changes to the block. If the fingerprint of the block changes, it is no longer the same block. The third element inside each block is the hash of the previous block. This is what creates the technique that makes the blockchain so secure. So let me just give you a visual. This is a blockchain of 3 blocks. Now each block has a hash and also the hash of the previous block. As you can see, block number 3 points to block number 2 and block number 2 points to block number 1. But block number 1 is different. It does not point to any previous block because it's the first one. This is called the Genesis block. Now, let's say someone tampers with that second block. This would cause the fingerprint, better known as the hash, to change. That would make all blocks following invalid because they can't store correct data. But using hash is not enough by itself to prevent tampering. Computers these days are very fast and can calculate hundreds and thousands of hashes per second. It would make it easy to change a hash in every block that follows. That's where the proof of work comes into play. The mechanism basically slows down the creation of a new block. In Bitcoin case, it takes about 10 minutes to calculate the required proof of work and then add a new block to the chain. This is what makes it difficult to tamper with a block, because if you tamper with one, you'll have to recalculate the proof of work for any block that follows. So the security of the blockchain comes from the creative use of hashing and proofing of work mechanism, not to mention protection because it's distributed. Instead of using a central entity to manage the chain, blockchain uses what's called peer-to-peer. And guess what about that? Everyone is allowed to join that. Now, when someone joins the network, each person gets a full copy of the blockchain. The node uses it to verify everything is in order. When someone creates a new block, everyone gets a copy. So each node then verifies the block to make sure it hasn't been tampered with. And if everything is verified, each node adds a block to their own blockchain. This creates consensus. All nodes agree, then it's placed on the blockchain. Blocks that are tampered with will be rejected by other nodes in the network. So to successfully tamper with a block, you would have to tamper with the blocks on the other nodes, redo proof of work on each block, take control of more than 50% of peer-to-peer network. This is impossible. The blockchain is consistently evolving. A recent development is the creation of smart contracts, which are simple programs that are stored on the blockchain and can be used automatically to exchange coins based on certain conditions. Others begin to look at technology and realize it can be used for other things like storing medical records, dealing with digital notaries, and even collecting taxes. If you learned something, consider subscribing and hitting the button. Bye!